Welcome to Show Me Some Television. That's right. This is the segment where I talk about television shows that I essentially missed when they first came out, or, didn't catch now as they're airing. Thanks to my free subscription from Show Me from Rogers. Ooh, blah, blah, blah. And, so if you've been following along, essentially you'll know that I kind of broke my rule of watching television. See, when it comes to television, I generally don't watch a series until it's either done or mostly done. And the first series I watched was Vikings. Clearly, not done, hardly even started. So the second one I checked out was Sons of Anarchy, and that was mostly done, and I was only missing 2 seasons when I started, then I was only missing 1 season. So essentially I've watched 2 series and both of them have left me hanging. So I decided to take a look for, a series that was done, that I hadn't watched, that everything was there and, I could just essentially watch it. And I came across Warehouse 13. Now, I knew about Warehouse 13, but I'd never seen it. I don't even recall ever seeing it listed in, the TV listings. So, yeah, I didn't know much about it, and essentially the way I look at it would be if you cross, say, the X-Files with the Friday the 13th television series. So it's... The idea behind it is there are these warehouses, and this is the 13th iteration of the warehouse. And in these warehouses, similar to, say, if you watch, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and their, Area 51 type thing where they take the Ark into it. Similar to that, and this is a place where they store artifacts that have, like, supernatural powers or something like that. What you'd call supernatural powers, though they may be, essentially explained by science, etc. And it has a, Mulder and Scully type duo that have been put together to track down these artifacts, collect them, and bring them back to the warehouse. Unlike Mulder and Scully, who, are both essential experts at the FBI, Scully's medical history, she's, apparently knows a lot more than you would think. And, Mulder is great at, he has a huge, vast knowledge, and he is a, probably like the best profiler, I guess, as you can say. So they're like experts in their field. In the case of Warehouse 13, they seem to have picked 2 people who aren't experts at all, and they kind of bumble their way through things. So there are a lot of comedic aspects, I guess you could say. It's a very lighthearted program in comparison to, say, something like X-Files, or even the Friday the 13th television series, which I think was more serious. And it is very much like where like Warehouse 13 and the Friday the 13th are very, very similar. Both are about tracking down artifacts, different reasons behind them, but that idea is there, and whatever happens because of the artifacts and such is involved. The show has essentially several main characters. One is played by Eddie McClintock, who plays Pete, who's the male. He's the Mulder, but he's essentially he's got sort of like a supernatural power, if you will. He sort of knows how things are gonna kind of happen, or he has these senses. He has these sort of not premonitions, but these feelings. And then we've got Joanne Kelly, who plays Micah or Mika. Who's the Scully, and she's more serious, but at the same time she's not exactly an expert. She doesn't have any background in this type of thing. And really, neither of them do, because unlike Mulder and Scully, who are from the FBI, these guys are from the Secret Service. These are the people who are brought in to protect, the president and high dignitaries and such of the United States. And so they're not really trained in that kind of a thing. And the weird thing is though they're recruited into this Warehouse 13, which is sort of like a off the grid, nobody knows about it type thing, they still pretend to be Secret Service agents, and the Secret Service gets involved with it's that aspect of it didn't make much sense to me. I would think if this is a government sanctioned retrieval thing for all these crazy powerful devices, and they know about it and they know what's going on, or some people in the government, you'd think that there would be some sort of new identity type thing, so that it'd make it a lot easier for them to do things. Because really, it's a constant thing in the series where they are showing up to something and they're like, here we are from Secret Service, and the guys are like, so the president's not here. What do you want? You have no jurisdiction here. And they're like, you're right, we don't. So yeah, it's a little bit weird in that sense. Other characters, one is a really good one played by Saul Rubinek, and he's the Artie. He's sort of like the one of the only original people working at the warehouse, and he sort of is the works in the control center, if you will. Another person would be Allison Scagliotti, who plays Claudia Donovan. She's a younger, computer-savvy person who's brought in a little bit later. And then there's other people. There's Janelle Williams plays Lena, who sort of deals with... she takes care of the hotel, motel type place where all these people stay. And then there's also Aaron Ashmore, who plays a character called Steve Jinks, who's later on in the series, who comes in and joins the crew as well. It's not bad. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I was just sort of binge watching it and going through, and it was, I think maybe it's a sci-fi original. I don't know if maybe it's a sci-fi original series. Maybe that's why I didn't see it originally. But I like the idea, some of the stories that they had. But my biggest problem was the two main characters. I did not like the characters of Pete and Mika. The whole bumbling thing wasn't, it wasn't me. It's one thing if you have an episode or two here where you do some comical type things, like the X-Files did. But I like my sci-fi to be more straightforward. I like my guys who are supposed to be solving things to be, intelligent and have the skills to do solve these things. Of course, they eventually do it, but it's really just the plot makes it so that they figure things out. I don't really think it's a matter of their skills so much. But that being said, it's an okay watch. I don't know that I would recommend it to people. But if somebody's, watched, Andromeda and whatever, X-Files and whatever, Stargate and all these kind of Eureka, and they're looking for another show to watch, then yeah, I would pitch it to them. I would say, yeah, give it a go. It's in that vein. You may like it, you may not. Like me, I kind of like the idea. I like the Friday the 13th aspect of it. I thought some of the storylines were okay. Other ones were a little I liked some of the actual episodes, when they're tracking down these items. Essentially, anything could be turned into an artifact, as they call them. It's essentially something created via, I don't know, great emotional event or something like that. So, and it's often by famous people. So, like, you could say this, and you have Jack the Ripper's knife, surgical knife or something like that, and it does power. So when you cut somebody, you heal somebody else or something like that, whatever. And I like some of those type of stories and what they came up with in terms of the artifact and what it did and why it did it. But yeah, in general, the series as a whole, it's okay. It's enjoyable, but I wouldn't call it a great show that I would recommend to everybody. That being said, how did it fare on Shomi? Well, the internet indicated that they had the entire series, and I watch it on my cable box, so I don't have to use up any bandwidth. So I watched it through pretty much, I don't even know how many seasons there are of the dang thing. Lots of them. I think there's like 5, so maybe more. I don't know, but there was quite a few. And so I watched. It ran from 2009 to 2014. So yeah, I guess 5. And so I watched the first season, no problem. Second season, no problem. Third season, no problem. Fourth season, mostly no problem. Until I started getting to the end, and things started. Some of the episodes weren't coming through properly. And there was an episode missing. And one of the episodes was there. But when I went to play it, it literally started at the end credits. No matter what I did, I couldn't start at the beginning. It went right to the end credits, no matter what. So there was like 2 episodes missing from season 4. So I was like, oh, okay, this is not good. And I let it sit for a while, and I came back, and eventually I just decided I'm going to skip those. Went into season 5, missed a few storylines here because it was a continuing story going on at that point, climax to the end, season's end, and I missed a few things there. I eventually went back and checked them out online. They were available online through Shomi, and I watched those. But then in season 5 had similar problems. There was a couple of episodes where they I don't know. Either they were corrupt or something. I don't know. It was just really, really weird. I couldn't watch them on the cable box. And then when I tried to go online, I was able to watch one of them, but the other one I couldn't. So Shomi had some serious quality control problems here. Now these are, it took me a while to get through these seasons, and they've been on there since, Shomi aired, so there's enough time for them to know. So obviously Shomi doesn't go through every episode and check to make sure everything's okay, because these weren't, problems with one day of streaming. The file was clearly had problems in it, and so it didn't matter where I was watching from. If I watched it on the cable or if I watched it online, some of them just didn't work, and like I said, some of them just weren't there on the cable line, but they were online. So there's a very, very weird thing going on that they're not, I don't know, maybe they're not pulling from the same table, like a database, I don't know, but yeah, it was really, really weird. So hopefully I don't run into that with any other programs I'm watching, because that will really, really suck. So yeah, that's my thoughts of Warehouse 13 and the problems I ran into trying to watch it on Shomi. Until next time, when I check out some television via the Shomi service through Rogers, take care and have a good one.